Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is David Erebo. Welcome again to the Pro-Unitate podcast. As usual, I've got Chioma, smiling Chioma, with me, my hostess, and we've got a very important personality on the show today. Her name is, do I add Hajia, or is it just Gimbaya Hannatu Kwari Ismaila?
Yes, that's just fine.
Brilliant. She is, of course, the national president or global president of the FGGC Bakori Old Girls Association. A strong Usosan. That's why she's on the platform. To talk about herself, talk about FGGC Bakori, talk about Usosa, and of course, get our audience to know who she is. Chioma, you all know Chioma, of course. I'll let Chioma do a bit of introduction of herself.
Thank you, David. It's good to be back. Every session is different, and thank you, Global President, for having the time.
Oh, it looks like we've lost you, Chioma. Never mind. If we've lost you, I'll just carry on. We can't hear you. Is your mic muted?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe you should come closer. Yeah, we can hear you now. Excellent. Go on.
Thank you. I was saying that when you were before I introduced myself, that you missed out the bit of adding Queens of the North to the intro.
Oh, is that what Bakori is? The Queens of the North, yeah? Excellent.
Yes, of
I won't forget that.
So, I am Choma Anyway, FGGC Abluma, 1997, and I am Usosa Publicity Secretary. And as you know, this platform is for our success stories from the hostel to the boardroom. So it's a pleasure to have the Global President. Welcome.
Thank you. Hannatu, I think that's the name I know quite well. I've sent her quite a few messages. She's responded as well. She's an administrator with over 20 years in Nigerian public service, specializing in tourism development, destination marketing, branding, and corporate communications. Tourism is a very interesting topic in Nigeria. I remember when we were growing up, we had the Mambila Plateau Hills, we had the Obudu Cattle Ranch, we had the Ikogusi Warm Springs. In Jos, we used to go to the Wildlife Park. I think that was in Bakori or something. I don't know if those exist anymore. We'll talk about it at some point. Again, she's the global president of the FGGC Bakori Old Girls Association. She's experienced in ministerial briefings, interagency coordination, and stakeholder engagement. She's a community leader and advocates for girls' education. Again, she went to a federal government girls' college, so girls' education, very important. I think the girls miss out on education a lot because of the nature of the system in Nigeria. But let's give Hannatu a chance to introduce herself. Nobody can do it better than her. So the floor is yours, Hannatu.
Thank you so much, Chioma and David. Thank you for having me on this platform. I'm a very passionate Usosan because I believe in what we stand for. Of course, I went to FGGC Bakori, a school I loved and enjoyed and still cherish. Like you said, I work for government and I'm a trained graphic artist, actually. So somehow I found myself in the public sector. And not by mistake, I actually chose to do my NYSC with the Nigerian Tourism Corporation then, because I love to travel. I love to see Nigeria. I enjoyed knowing a lot of people from Bakori, and I was eager to really visit the states around Nigeria. And that has been like my passion and still is. So yes, I've been working in government. I've risen through the ranks. Great experience trying to package and promote what we have as a country. I also come from a family that is deeply rooted in the community where we come from. And that's why you see that I put it there that I'm a community leader, because the Gimbia you tried to call is a title I got as early as when I was 35 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's not something that happens easily in northern Nigeria. But I was deeply rooted in helping people acquire education right from an early stage, because also of my father. I saw that he was helping so many people, and then we decided to work together as a family, form a foundation, and try to do what we can. Because, as you know, in the North, I think we're a bit backward in education, and for many reasons. There are a lot of reasons for that. And so over the years, we've worked to see how we can give those that are, especially those that are willing, that opportunity, to go to school. Yeah, so that's me. I love to travel. I love Usosa because it's just a wonderful community I've been part of right from the beginning. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
The beginning, I think we have a brief history about Usosa, don't we, Chioma? The beginning was a group of people sitting down planning anniversaries for their schools. And was it the Albert Okumaba of blessed memory was deeply involved? Yes. Excellent. That's in the Pro-Unitate YouTube channel. If you want to watch it, we've had guests. I think this is our 13th episode now. Right. So why Bakori? Give us the intro into Bakori. Give us life experiences of Bakori and one particular thing you remember very vividly.
Why Bakori? Of course, I think that for some reason it was actually a model school in northern Nigeria. And it wasn't where I was supposed to go initially, but I had two other friends, and our mothers are friends. They also went to Queen's School in Ilorin. So when one mother said her daughter was going to this one, told her about the school, that there's a principal there that is, quintessential, so passionate, and so many good things I heard even before going to the school. I got excited, and of course we ended up there. So I have like 3 of my classmates with mothers that were also classmates when they were our age in the Queen's School in Ilorin. Yeah, and so that's how I ended up going to Bakori. The rest of my sisters unfortunately didn't get it. They went to Bauchi. My 2 other sisters went to FGGC Bauchi, yes.
Right.
And they shouldn't hear you say unfortunately.
Yeah, because I don't hear them talk about their school as much as I talk about my school. And so yes, Bakori was really a great experience. And I think largely because of our principal. She's quite famous, late Mrs. F.S. Robinson. She was just a great woman. She held the school, treated us like a mother, and was so fair to everybody. I just remember that some of us would try to bring in that. She never cared who your parents were or where you're coming from. You had to obey the rules. And for me, it just kind of gave me some perspective to life. And then the great people that I met, I come from a very special set as well. The class of 91. I think you should do a research and see that in most of the OSAs and OGAs in Usosa, they are one of the most active and united. So we've kept together as friends, and we're still friends. after so long. When I say friends, I really mean friends in the real sense of the word. Not that I know they're somewhere, no. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we ended up in one of our friends' house to eat amala, and there were like 30 of us, and she just cooked amala on a Sunday afternoon, and we all went to eat. That's how close we are. And so, apart from the education, the friendships, they're still my friends still today. I have not really made any other friends that I'm close to because I have them. And so Bakori will always be special to me.
I think you're absolutely right about the unity within the Bakori, the old students. I was in the Canada plenary, and I think they had the most representation. The vice president general is one of your old school students. I think they had about 8 or 9 of them singing the school's the school's anthem. I remember that vividly. Have you seen the video of the plenary? Again, it's
Yes,
I think it's something we have to put on the Pro-Unitate YouTube channel.
I'll tell you my first experience of my first AGM.
Right.
Into the hall, and one side of the hall, everywhere is pink. And I couldn't find I used to brag in the South that we were so many, only to get to Abuja, and everywhere was pink. I said, which school? Why is everywhere pink? There were so many. So many. I felt so intimidated. Bakori, I don't know how they always come out as in a mass. So it's the unity there. You can tell.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yes.
So we're still waiting for that unique thing that happened that gingered you or pointed you in a direction.
Okay, that unique thing comes from the same woman I talk about, because she was the longest serving principal in the school. I think the earlier set said they had Patricia Hawley, who was an expatriate, but she was there for maybe 3 years, and then F.S. Robinson came. So the thing is that all of us went through a particular person, and beyond what the education was, this woman poured in to us a lot of things about being a woman. She made you learn how to speak like a lady, act like a lady. She made you understand who you are as a female and what the expectations are of how you behave. And so sometimes when I go to some places and I say, did you go to FGGC Bakori? There's a reason why I'm saying it, because you can almost pick our traits everywhere we are. And so I think it's that consistency with having a principal for so long. So she covered a lot of sets until 1994 or 95 was the last set. And truly, if you look at it, what else could makes us feel like queens? We had a role model like that.
To look up to.
Yes.
Brilliant. Chioma?
Yeah, so that's one thing that I also think that maybe the Federal Minister of Education should look into, for that model that works, where you have, when you get a principal who is hardworking, who means actually to turn the children around, instead of moving them every 2 years, even before the person acclimatizes. These days, you do a lot of transfers. Principals don't stay long anymore. And like the first set of our school, the principal they had, when we talk, they treat us like people didn't meet Miss Agu. You cannot be original because she wanted us. So I'm sure that's what you're doing. So I think that is something that we should, I don't know if we're going to engage Federal Ministry of Education to actually look into this model that has worked for every school that had a principal that stayed for long, a good principal. You can tell how the children turned out. So it's something to think about. Thank you for bringing up this.
Usosa, let's talk a bit about Usosa. Why do you have that passion for Usosa? What are the qualities of being an Usosa? And where do you see Usosa at the moment? Where do you see it going in the next 5, 6, 7 years?
Okay, Usosa, somehow, the first time I attended a Usosa meeting, at that time, we didn't even have a formal association as FGGC Bakori alumni. But I had a friend or cousin that was working with Senior Albert who invited me. And then I found a few of my Bakori girls, trust them, they were also there. And so immediately after that, I think we participated in that first election that brought in Senior Albert, and then, so after that, I was attending some of the meetings, and then I just discovered that some Bakori girls here and there, even within Abuja, were meeting, some in Kaduna and things like that. And then eventually we said, okay, these people are meeting, and then we now said, okay, why don't we just join forces? Initially maybe by sets, they were having these pockets of meetings. And then I think it was 2008. Since 2008, we were formally registered as an alumni. And since then, I don't think there's any Usosa meeting or event that you do not find representation from FGGC Bakori. Check the records. I'm so sure of that. And again, the idea is we know what we stand for. And if you find a larger community, I feel that is the opportunity is there for us to have greater impact because we have that common Pro-Unitate value system. And I really think we're different. It's not all perfect, but gradually I've seen how we've been moving. And recently, I must say, maybe from the education summit, at a point people were getting a bit tired. Maybe we're always having just plenary, what does it amount to and things like that. We gathered to speak, but I think by the time we started, we did that, the engagement got deeper and we're beginning to understand more the power that we have, that we can even change, the system in Nigeria, education-wise. Yeah. And I think what the last two ESCOs have been doing is fantastic. I think that the expansion in trying to bring, because there's still a lot of us outside of, the platforms and the movement, and the mobilization has been awesome in the last few years, I must say. And as we're expanding, I think that it just shows that we're getting to where we're going. And what is it? Actually, we want to see the schools get back to what it used to be or better.
And the quality of education as well, get back to what it used to be.
Exactly. So I think that now that we have a stronger force, government is listening. I mean, I'm hearing their committees, their meetings, their engagements, and I know that we're going to really be able to change a lot of things. From the education summit, I've seen some committees being formed. We had head of service, Abi. She's still there. She's still the head of service here, and all that. Even the PAMSEC. So I think that the progress, it's gradual, but it's very steady, and it's very focused. And I think that if we remain on this trajectory, where we will be able to make that impact, see our schools get better, if possible, better than what we had. Why not? In Bakori, I think, and some other schools had external students because the schools were that good. The quality of education was that good. And so for me, it's a dream. It's a passion I have, especially for Bakori. I've been back there several times, and I'll keep going until I'm sure that we're able to give as much as we can so that other girls can go to school, even exceed where we are now. So I think that's the journey so far. I am very positive. I'm very positive because for me, the mobilization is crucial. We're bringing in everybody that needs to be on board. And once we form that kind of force, we will be able to change things.
Excellent. Chioma?
Yeah, I'm glad you spoke about the values, because what is one of the things that unite us as a Sultans. You can sit in the room and someone walks in and speaks to someone, and you like, "Are you a Sultan? What federal government college did you go to?" So there's something. But I also see that there's beginning to a gap is developing that needs to be closed. There's between the people in school right now, or even the people that left school like 5-10 years ago. Some of the values are gradually eroding. What are you going to do as a global president to close this gap? Because you have a lot of young people in your association who may not have been so lucky to have the quality that you speak about this evening. What's the plan? Yes, there are girls in school who want quality education. What of the ones that have come out and they didn't receive that quality, the values and everything that we're speaking about today? What's your plan as an association?
Okay, so it's true that things have kind of deteriorated and all that, for Bakori, and it's attributed to a couple of things. We just kind of saw one, maybe principals being changed time as the policies keep changing, or the whatever. Security issues have come up. Especially, I'm speaking because of the experience in Bakori. A lot of security issues that kind of affected even teachers accepting to work in those areas. So again, not having good teachers or enough teachers has also affected the quality of education. So there are quite a number of challenges that have come up over time. And like you said, our alumni is very, very strong because we run that a set system as well as the chapter system. So it's a combined strategy we're using. And why do we do that? Because we have to carry the ones behind along. And a few years ago, when I was on the previous ESCO, that was the pioneer team, we launched actually a mentorship program and try to go to the school when they are about to graduate. So once you're able to get their data, once they're about to graduate, we find a way of infusing them in the alumni. That way, they can share their problems, they can share their issues, and then that apart from the things we go to do in the school. So I think the alumni being there, present, and well-structured also helps us, because we need to be together to be able to know that these are the issues, these ones these are the issues. I remember was it 2 years ago, what we did, identify certain of us, and then we now tell them to add us to their platforms, like different, the younger ones. So you go into the platform and just to spend some time, hear what are their issues, what are their problems, and things like that. And of course, we have set reps on our own neck and the chapter presidents again. So as much as we can, we try to carry everybody along. But we have to know. That's why we encourage that membership right from the time they are leaving school. So we're able to track that.
Chioma, that's the secret. Linking them up while they're leaving school. That's why there are so many of them concentrated in that Bakori association. That's why they have big attendances in all the Usosa meetings. So that's the trick. You should take that back to Abuloma, see if they can inculcate that. Let me talk a bit about Gimbaya, now that I know that's a title. Let me talk a bit about Gimbaya Hannatu's education and training. She's well-traveled. She's been to seminars on innovative development of tourism for African countries. This was in China. and this is as early or as recent as 2023. She's been to the British Council International Festivals Academy programs. This was in 2018 in Scotland, in the United Kingdom. She also has an MSc International Management and Marketing. Is this the Kedge Business School, Marseille, France? That means she must speak a bit of French. Obviously, B.Tech Industrial Design. She talked about graphics. I think she got that from the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University in Bauchi, where she studied from 1994 to the year 2000. Let's talk a bit about graphics. Let's talk a bit about tourism. As we know, the graphic space is improving, technology is improving every day. I think that's one of our go-tos now in Nigeria. How can the young ones tap in? Even some of us that are this old, how can we tap in to improve our lot, to improve Usosa? How can Usosa benefit? How can Bakori benefit?
Okay, talking about graphics, of course, it's something that has been evolving over. At the time that I studied that in university, we had to do pencil, crayon, this, paint. But these days you have technology that can equally do that. So even without that formal foundation, you can, it's a space that gives you a lot of opportunity, especially if you're creative or have that kind of passion. It's closely linked to tourism because, for me, more people ask me, why work in government? Why do you work in tourism? You're a graphic artist. I'm like, okay, we have to promote and over the years, that's what I've done on the job, creating that content. It has a lot to do with the photography, the traveling, capturing, images of those sites. When you were mentioning all the great sites, you were talking about it as if they were in the past. They still exist.
Okay.
The Obudus, the Yankaris, and all that. They're still all there. They're still very much there. And really, we've not done so well in terms of promoting what we have as a country. And if you look around Africa, if you look globally, what really drives tourism? It's just a vision that we want people to come to our country, and that intentional policy that makes you create an environment that attracts everybody. But it was great at some point in Nigeria. And then after some time, with all these challenges, but we're in a good place now. Earlier today, I was at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the same thing. They want Nigerian embassies as a touch point with tourism. And so we had to sit together. And what we're trying to do is to create a tool for them to be able to use. A video that you can see anywhere that just tells you this is Nigeria. So we're trying to use the embassies as another channel for marketing or promoting tourism in Nigeria. And believe you me, a lot of young people are interested. There are a lot of opportunities across the entire value chain. When you talk about tourism, you're from the starting point, the moment you get up, take a flight from Lagos coming to Abuja, where you're going in Abuja, what you're going to eat, where you're staying. I like to talk Abuja because Nigeria, because the domestic tourism is key. Over 200 and something million Nigerians. If we travel around Nigeria, what we have, right? We don't even need anybody coming here. The market is here. But again, we have to be able to position the marketing, the branding, so we will know. Some people still don't know about Nigeria. And there's so much to see in this country. So that's where the opportunity lies in the entire value chain from the hospitality to the marketing to tour operating. There are quite a number of young people, a lot of bloggers showing, different sites in Nigeria. If you're online a lot, you will see them. Photography, there's a lot to be captured. The content creators are there. When you capture us, we need to really, curate the content. So as a business, huge opportunities for younger generation, and even that doesn't have that foundation as either as an expert in tourism or graphics, it's something technology has made life so easy. If you ask me to make a presentation to create something, it takes me so much time, because I have to, even just one flyer, it takes me so long. But just last weekend, I was able to just learn one particular tool on Cursive or so that in a few minutes with some prompts, I can actually create what I want without going through that manual process. The manual process sometimes is good for authenticity, yes, but you have to know what's happening in the world. The trends are there, and you have to make that content look attractive enough. So using technology is not an option. It's not an option we can leave behind. So there are quite a number of opportunities in the sector.
You see, this is what we talk, Chioma. I'll give you the floor in a moment. Everybody keeps moaning, oh, Nigeria is this, Nigeria is that. But we do have good things. We have quality. Tourism, as an example. My friend is the king of Usosa. Usosa is a tourist attraction in Edo State. I'm going to make sure that I link him up with you so that you guys can discuss. He's doing a lot in Usosa. But you see, these are the positives. This is Pro-Unitate. This is Usosa personified. And that's why we have these podcasts to showcase the positive and the good. I'll cede the floor to you, Chioma. You were going to say things and ask a question.
Yes, whilst it was speaking, my mind was just going to all the Twitter platforms and the fact that across the cities, and the fact that for whichever tourist center, there's one Usosa living in that city. And I'm just thinking, what can come out of this if we have in all those places we have Usosans? What is there any form of collaboration that between Usosa and tourism? Is there something that we can do together?
Of course. You see, I think there's a perfect connection because we're all about trying to show Nigeria. Our value system, I always write on my Instagram that if your blood is green, come here. That is if you went to a unity school, because we love Nigeria. We are Nigeria because it's a country that invested in us. And this is just the time for us to do what we can for the country in whatever way, not just education, like you're saying. I remember we went for a program in Benin. I left you people and I went to the museum, to look at it because some artifacts had been returned. And so it was also an opportunity for me to go and see what was there. I made my notes and all that. So for me, it always linked every travel, whether it's a Usosa event, a wedding, a meeting, an official event, is an experience. And the experiences are everywhere across Nigeria. And look at our sports carnival. It's a major tourism event. It's something that we brand in a way, the city hosting it and all that. There are a lot of opportunities to showcase even potentials for the state that is hosting. It's an opportunity for us to say, okay, if we're doing it in Enugu, we're going to create some content around festivals in Enugu. We're going to include a visit to a major.
Oh, have we lost our guest? It looks like the network, unfortunately, is causing issues. I'm sure she'll get back to us. While we're waiting, go on. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to tell her the last was it the last plenary now, the one we held in Enugu, when I was putting out the publicity, I decided, you know what, whatever city we're going to, we're going to start selling the history, we're going to start showcasing the things that are known for. That's how come you saw some masquerade and all of those things. I want, because I'm looking for how we can educate Usosans about these cities, about these things, because for everywhere there are Usosans in every city. So why don't we start showcasing these things? And I really need her to speak to this. Unfortunately,
hopefully she'll be back with us very shortly. We're used to this by now. We know the network, unfortunately, does let us down sometimes. So, to the audience, apart from being the national president of FGGC, Bakori Old Girls Association, she's also been the assistant secgen of the association itself between 2017 and 2023. She's actually a leader of over 3,000 plus members across Nigeria, the UK, and the US. She's a mentor, and I think she organizes skills programs advocating for girls' education. That was where I was going to go next when she finishes. Obviously, if she's here, she'll join us and then finish what she was saying. Yeah, she's muted. I think she's trying to get her.
Okay.
So Gimbia, if you turn the phone sideways, it'll be much easier. The other way? Nope. The other way? No, yeah, upside down now. No.
Is this okay?
No, you're upside down now. One more. Right. Okay. Yes, that's perfect. Sorry, I was just talking to the audience a bit about what you do at Girls Education. We know you're Director of Communication, the Network of Women for Sustainability Development. We will talk about the girl child and the women in Nigeria, but we want to give you a chance to conclude what you were saying before the network loss.
Okay, sorry for that. I was just about to celebrate a good network, and that happened anyway. So, yes, like I was saying, I said I'm very open. I'm here. I'm very reachable and available to link the things that we're doing also to tourism, especially for the destinations that we have events in. But not only that, the fact that we have Usosans in Abuja, Usosans in cities groups. So it's something maybe we can brainstorm and see what we can do. We need to also know about our country. We're celebrating that we have friends all around, but there are some of us that have never been to some places. So I think it's something we would explore.
You know, here in the South, I could just say, oh, I'm going to be in Kaduna. I'm excited about it, and people look at you like, you're going to Kaduna, really? Kaduna is not my. Oh, you're going to. I said, for whatever northern states, I'm already thinking of who I'm going to call once I'm in the town.
Exactly.
So I don't see why I would think twice about going to those cities. So these are also, I'm sure some people also feel that way about the South. Maybe you're in the North, you feel that way, but this education is really orientation, actually.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's talk about advocacy for the girl child, for girls' education, for women's development in Nigeria. I think from the start of our conversation, you did mention something about the lack of education for the girls in the North. Give us the reason why you do this. Give us the impact you've made in what you're doing for the girl child and for women development, and where you hope we will get to at some point.
Okay, first of all, why why I do a lot of these things. Like I said earlier, once you look around you, where I come from, I look around and see a lot of females, not only females, but children who are not able to go to school. And my father also had the same experience. And so he is somebody that every time somebody comes to tell him, sir, we need help, this person's child, he has gotten this, he's passed his exam, he can't go to school. And so my dad was doing a lot of those things personally and quietly, and it got to the point that, of course, after we finished school, I started working and all that. And I was going back home to support a lot of the work my mom was also doing. She also does some women NGO stuff. She does these women groups that they put money together, traditionally, then go to farm here, do that. I don't know the system, but that's what she's been into for some time. And so I said, okay, instead of only people that know, if you don't know my dad or you don't know any member of our family, you can't ask for help. Why don't we formalize it? And we sat as a family and actually formed that NGO, Babatoma Jimeta Foundation, which is named after my grandfather, who didn't have an education but made sure his children went to school.
Wow.
And so that's why we decided to formalize it and put up a structure, especially for, we just run a simple structure. We said we'll start from our community, expand it to Gombe South. That's where I come from, then Gombe State. And, females around the north, there are a lot of reasons. Some mothers, they married them off early. Their early marriages, their traditional practices, their religious issues. So there are a lot of things that hindered girls from having, going to school. And so we began to look at that. And my family also allowed me, even in the scholarship process. So we run a scholarship, and when people apply, and then there's a separate board, is independent. None of us is on that board. They do the selection and all that. So for me, I try to find females that are disadvantaged, and they always have that special slot. And I always tell them, even if it means extra funding, and really we've never gone to ask anybody for money. It's just my dad. He would say, okay, sacrifice this asset, let's liquidate it and give the scholarship. So this is how we've been operating for about 7 or 8 years now. And quite a number of them have finished either secondary school, going to university. Some have finished primary, going to secondary. And you need to know that my parents are all teachers. Okay. My father and my mother were all teachers at a point. So they understand the importance of education. And we really believe as a family that is what can really change our community. And the reason why I've gone into, of course, not just education with the Family Foundation, the other foundation you're talking about, Network of Women for Sustainable Development, it's actually a group of Northern women that still, for the same reason, we're trying to look into the challenges that why are the girls not going to school? So we took it further. That's on another platform. And we visited some areas in northern Nigeria. You need to see the situation. Sometimes the schools are not even there. So there are many factors, apart from the traditional practices, the lack of even the school. Sometimes they tell you to walk how many kilometers to access a school. And so that's where we started. We've done quite a number of projects in Bauchi. We were able to rebuild a school that, we just saw one block that didn't have even a roof. And over how many villages were going to just that one school. And guess what? I think it was just one teacher. So we've been on the field. And we do a lot of collaborations. There are a lot of other female groups, specialized group like that. We also found out that menstrual hygiene and health also affected a lot of girls. There's when you say poverty, there's really the poverty that a girl that is young does not have the resources to be able to use the appropriate things she needs during that circle. And some don't even go to school because of that. So again, we've done some projects like that, working with other women groups, because we cannot go to all these locations. So we find out women groups that are in Kebbi, in Jos, in Kaduna, and then we raise the funds and then we support the work that they do. So that's what we've been doing with the Network of Women for Sustainable Development. And this is really exciting because only last week, the federal government, the Women Affairs Minister, finally created a policy against for the menstrual health, because a lot of people didn't know that it was a hindrance, and it is a hindrance to especially people in the rural areas, the young girls. And so those are the few things that we've been trying to do. We're still, of course, trying to find more ways, resources. So the Network of Women for Sustainable Development is an interesting one. You know what? Some of those women are not in Nigeria.
Right.
Yes, some of them are not in Nigeria, especially those on the board of trustees. They're all around. We have some in South Africa, in the UK, and the US. So it's a very diverse group of women that are really interested in raising the support, because they see that they can be able to write, and get grants. Then we are able to give the women that are actually on the field doing this work, women that can go to the schools that are in those rural areas and be able to help these girls. Some also want to start small scale industries to be producing some of this menstrual health sanitary wares and things like that. So that we're currently working with one like that to begin to produce these things locally, so that it's cheaper, it's more affordable, and it's more reachable. So that's what we do on the Women's Network. And also for Bakori, we have a lot of Bakorians also that are mentors. I think Hawa Liman was the last one we used. She also has access to, she's a fashion designer. So she also has access to this kind of schemes and programs that are able to, sometimes they say bring 5 women or 10 women and they train them in a particular skill, as a way of empowerment. And so there are quite a number of ex-students that are also doing that for Bakori girls especially. So, but it's all out of one single passion to see that the girl behind, or the girls in that place, become better, have a better future. Because we had a good time, we are where we are today. We want to bring up those girls as well. So it's just the passion that drives us.
Absolutely. I'll cede the floor again in a moment.
I was just trying to remind you of.
Yes. I was lucky or opportune to do a podcast with Hajia Salamatu Gaba of Wufan. I don't know if you've heard of them. She's doing a great thing, educating or providing work for the rural area women in the north, growing rice. I think they have a rice mill. Again, that's another link up with what you do. And Usosa, I already know in my head right now, I can link you up with, is the lead of the Canadian plenary. She's into exactly what you she's a link up. She does the same similar things you do. The difference
Okay.
is she's in in Canada, and she has government support, so you guys can come together and talk and see where the synergy can take place to improve the lot of the woman child. On TN
Absolutely.
part, we twice a year we do a sanitary pad giveaway for the girl child. We feed widows. The last one was in the east, and then we do what we call feed the children festive periods, Christmas, Easter. So we bring a minimum of 200 to 300 children together, feed them, give a couple scholarship, give out prizes and educational material. All this came about as a result of me in 2017 starting to understand what networking was, how there was passion for Nigeria, and wanting to give back, you see. So that's how the New Nigerian came about. The floor is yours now to ask a few questions. We know time is of the essence. You can ask Chioma a few questions about Usosa. You can ask me a bit more about TNN. Let's see where synergy is. We know that we can keep talking for hours, so there will be a part two. That's for sure. Maybe in a few months' time to see where we've gone with everything we've talked about. So the floor is yours, Gimbea.
I'm curious to hear from her because I don't know what question.
Say again?
I'm curious to hear her question because I don't know what she doesn't know about you, so I'm waiting.
Okay. That I didn't really follow this last plenary he's talking about. Now because of a couple of things he has said, I'm really curious. I have to go and look at the video and try to find the lead person in
I will send you
Usosa's.
all our information, and
Yeah.
I'll also let her know about you.
Yes. So right now where we are, I was just wondering, I know recently, before she became head of service, she was PAMSEC, Federal Ministry of Education. And there was a committee that was supposed to work to use some certain schools. I think some schools were chosen as models for, yes. So I don't know. There hasn't been any updates on that. Did the project take place? What are the findings? And is there going to be phase 2 of it? Because some schools were selected to be renovated. Yes. Was it for the smart, even before the smart classrooms?
Okay, after the needs assessment was taken.
Yes. So I'm just wondering, has that been done, or that project has not taken place? Because some of us, our schools were not on that first list. So I've been eager to see that they've done the first round, because we hear that there will be a second round, and I know we won't miss that second round.
Yeah, I think Abloma is in the first round, and the project is still to be executed. Okay. I know I think the PAMSEC there is a Usosa, and they've been following up on that. So I want to believe that once it's ready to kick off, he would go on to that. But I do not think, I know that it hasn't happened. And it hasn't happened. So I'm still waiting on.
Okay. So now that I'm the talk host, I'd like to ask David to tell me a little bit more about himself, because I'm not sure that we've met physically, face to face.
No.
Yeah. So
I have communicated with you severally regarding Alumni Hub. as part of
Yes.
the drive for technology from the
Okay.
Usosa leadership. Well,
Okay.
David Arable, class of 86, Federal Government College, Idoani. I went to the University of Benin. I'm a graduate of history. Not long after I graduated, I moved to the UK where I'm based now. My forte is customer service. I have more than 25 years experience in customer service. Recently, I've dedicated my time to what we call the New Nigeria, and it's a platform that bridges the gap between diaspora and Nigeria. So we take the best in diaspora, connect it to the best in Nigeria, and we see if we can execute projects. For instance, just linking you up with Claire, the Usosa lead, something good will come out of it. We can document that and
Okay.
showcase it to Nigerians on the way forward, showcase it to the world. What I'm trying to engineer actually is the reverse brain drain, which is to get every brain that has left Nigeria into diaspora and giving their best to diaspora to try and look back home. And it's actually working. We've got people who we've spoken with who have actually gone back to Nigeria to set up various things. We have doctors who have gone to set up clinics. We have a regenerative medicine doctor, Dr. Ikudaisi, based in America, has a clinic now in Lagos. We have your favorite person, what's his name? George, Richard George, who set up a mentoring platform in Abuja. I think he's launching this month, isn't it? I must contact him. 3rd of October. I must contact him. We did make a pledge of £100, which we have to. Yes, we have to fulfill. Yes, I will contact him. So that's short and long about me. When I now linked up with Usosa, the previous President General, Chief Lawrence Wilbert, was a classmate of mine in primary school. We had a conversation. I suddenly understood Usosa. I linked up, and here we are, trying to improve and develop ourselves, which is the most important thing we can do. And we need to give back. Between you and I, at my age, giving back is the only fulfilling part of my life now, apart from traveling, obviously, because that's what I enjoy doing as well. So that's the short and long about David. A lot to say. Hopefully I can write a book and it will be a bestseller. Who knows? That time may come. So that's it, Gimbaya Hannatu. I like that name. I would like to use this opportunity, however, to push a bit more to see that the current technological drive, both the smart classrooms and the alumni hub, which will provide you better resource to manage your association, is talked about offline. At the moment, suddenly, Ogbomoso is fast taking the lead. We had Ecom who were in the lead. Boko came on board. And then IOI. Suddenly, Ogbomoso is taking the lead now, and the initiative. We'll talk more about it offline. Time has gone.
Yes.
I'll let Chioma do the closing.
Thank you very much. It's been a worthwhile time with the global president of FGGC, Bakori of the North. Thank you so much for joining us. And to our audience, you know how you support us. Just click, share, subscribe. The site will be on the screen, so that this work that we're doing is actually telling our stories, the success stories of Usosans. And today you've heard it. You've heard from the girl from Bakori to the boardroom, the work that she's doing. It can be you tomorrow if you're still in school. If you're Usosa and you're still in school, this can be you on this platform tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining us. And I want to say a very big thank you to the TNN. This collaboration has been I don't know, I'm looking for the right adjective to use, but
fruitful.
David, you know that
Absolutely.
I'm very appreciative of this collaboration because it keeps bringing. You think sometimes behind the scene we have questions to ask, and the person sits on the chair and it takes a different whole turn. Usosans are very smart people, so thank you so much for educating us today, Global President. So, David, from me, is goodbye till the next edition.
The audience.
Thank you.
Quality,
Thank you.
value. This is what we aim to deliver. We'll now end the session with the audience. Let's have 2 minutes before we let you go. Okay?